They've won Tonys and Oscars and Emmys and Grammys. There's no red carpet because they're home in their jammies. From Melrose Place to Broadway to Janeway and her crew. Let Seth and James bring all the stars to you.
Anywho,
they're entertaining everyone, so who's gonna grouse? Just sit right back and you'll hear some tales on Stars in the House.
There we go. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Stars in the House. I'm James Wesley.
Hi, I'm Seth Rudetsky.
And hold on.
Oh, is she upstaging us?
Yes.
Oh, and it's
that's Mandy Rudetsky.
Good girl.
Yes.
NEA. We are celebrating the NEA. No, we're all about the NEA tonight.
Yes.
You'll find out why. We're a fundraiser, though, for the Actors Fund. We've been here since everything shut down. James, it's funny because James and I were talking about taking our dog to the vet. I said, we just took Mandy to the vet recently. And we found out we hadn't taken her to this one particular vet since last September.
Yeah.
But
Seth was insistent it was after the pandemic started and that it was maybe,
3 months ago.
Yeah.
But I feel like everything stopped in March. So like September to March is a short period of time. So we haven't been to this vet in a year. It's just weird how time's slow. But the point is we were doing 2 shows a day forever. We've been raising money for the Actors Fund since March. And the Actors Fund is for everybody in the arts, no matter what you do, whether you're on stage, off stage, in front of the camera, behind the camera, wherever you are across the country. And we're going to see a lot of theaters.
A lot of that today.
From across the country.
Yeah, can't wait.
And anyone that is having difficulties paying your rent or health insurance or groceries, especially with Thanksgiving coming up, you can go to actorsfund.org and ask for some help. Also, they have therapy. I mean, they have so many things to help you with. And if you can give some help, please donate at starsinthehouse.com.
Or you can text Fund 2020 to 56512, and then you forward your receipt to donations at Stars in the House.
And then we'll read them out loud on the air.
That's right. We are up to our total. We're rapidly approaching $600,000. We are at $574,460 raised for the Actors.
574. What is it?
I don't know.
I don't know. It sort of works. It's going to be weird when we go to 6 because there's really no song associated with it.
We have a lot of artistic directors here today, Seth, and
yeah.
Start auditioning now. But we've said a lot about how it's like, front of house, on stage, backstage, but artistic directors and their staffs are also people who can go to the Actors Fund.
Yeah.
And we've always said they're all from all over the country. And today is definitely a testament to that because we've got theaters from Hawaii, Alaska, Nebraska, whatever.
Saska.
DC, here right in New York. From all over.
These are all theaters
really
that have been helped because of the NEA.
And we're going to talk to Chairman Carter about that in just a few minutes. I don't know. Is there anything else? Did you want to read? Did you find one?
Yeah,
of these
just in case
yous?
people are wondering, this money that's donated to Stars in the House goes to actual people. It's not like they get these big grants to like a whole apartment building. Like one person will apply and they'll get funded. And there are a lot of thank you letters that the Actors Fund gets because of the money that all of our viewers have donated. So here's just one of the thank you letters they wrote to the Actors Fund. I wanted to thank you very much for what you sent me to help me through this crisis. The money you sent was a great relief and really took a lot of the fear out of this difficult situation. And someone else wrote, I want to thank you so much for what I received during this emergency. I'm so grateful and truly humbled to be the recipient of funds that I know are scarce and needed by so many. This money will truly make a difference in my family's ability to make it through this difficult period. Thank you. Your generosity will not be forgotten when I'm in a position to give, which I hope will be soon, which has happened. We've had some really successful, like TV, Jimmy Smits, these super successful people that have gone to the Actors Fund when they were first starting out for funds, and then they become successful. And yeah, they do pay it forward.
I see one of our viewers, Carol Leaf, who has done some matching donations with us in the past. Well, we have one tomorrow. We have another.
Oh yeah, Carol, we didn't tell you you're matching tomorrow. No, just kidding. That's
someone else who is going to, and we've got a lot of cast members. Seth,
it's basically
the texting yesterday. We found out about this matching donation up to $2,500 tomorrow.
It's going to be a Beetlejuice Part 2 reunion because we've had one before, but these are not all the same people. So we have, of course, Beetlejuice himself, Alex Brightman, baby girl. We have Carrie Butler, and Rob McClure and David Josephsberg. So it's the couple with the replacement husband. We have Presley Ryan again. We have Will Blum. And we have Leslie Kritzer, who couldn't be here the first time. So we have a lot of Beetlejuice people. It's gonna be a hilarious show. When you hear Alex Brightman read donations in his Beetlejuice voice, it's really,
oh my gosh.
Yeah. So that's gonna be tomorrow, and it's a matching donation. All right. Wait, Carol's hilarious. I said Carol's matching donations, and she said, "New phone, who dis?" Hilarious. It's not you. Someone else is doing it. That is hilarious.
Okay, I say we bring on our first guest. Marianne Carter is the chairman. Now, I know what my first question is going to be for her, so let's bring her on. She's of the National Endowment for the Arts. Let's bring on Marianne Carter. Hi.
Hi, Marianne.
Hello.
So my first question is chairman, chairperson, chairwoman, chair.
I will answer to anything. I usually answer to Marianne.
Okay.
But typically the title is chairman, so I'm perfectly fine with that.
Okay. But it's okay to call you Marianne.
Yes. Preferable.
Okay. Well, welcome to Stars in the House, Marianne. I'm
Thank
so glad
you so
you're here.
much. And James and Seth, if I can just take 1 second. I am so grateful to you all for tonight. No one knows more than you two what it means to help someone in need from your early days. Your Voices for the Voiceless, the Actors Fund that you were just talking about. And so for you to take the time to focus on a show on how the National Endowment for the Arts is helping those arts organizations in need as well, I really appreciate it, and I thank you for that.
Thanks. Thanks for coming to our Voice for the Voiceless, our foster care benefit, which was right before the pandemic. You sort of saw the last hurrah of our big charity events. It was great timing. Thank you for coming to that.
So for those who don't know, Marianne, what is the National Endowment for the Arts?
So the National Endowment for the Arts is a federal government agency. A lot of people don't even know that. And we are the only arts agency in the United States that funds organizations in all 50 states and all 6 territories. And we take great pride in our work and the mission of the agency. We're not a policy making agency like, Treasury or State Department or something. We're a mission oriented agency. And the mission is to ensure that all Americans have access to the arts.
Oh, I like that. And how do you decide if someone says, I want a grant from the NEA? Are you guys like Frank Rich, the New York Times, and you're like, your show's bad, no grants? I mean, like, how do you decide what gets a grant?
Well, there are parameters that have been set by Congress. First and foremost, you have to be a nonprofit organization.
Good.
And then there is because it's a government, you can imagine there's a complete bureaucratic process. But you fill out an application. The staff here checks it to make sure that it's eligible. And then it's juried by panels that we put together. We put together about 100 panels a year, 6 people on each panel. And they jury all the applications, and then they make recommendations. And then the recommendations go to the National Council and ultimately to me.
And what, obviously this has been a challenge. To say this is a challenging year is an understatement, but what part has the NEA played this year in COVID times, especially as it relates to the CARES Act?
So in March, as part of the CARES Act, we were granted $75 million. And so within 3 weeks of that, of receiving that money, we gave out $30 million to the state art agencies and the regional art organizations. And by law, 40% of our appropriations go to the state arts organizations and the regional arts organizations. And then with the remaining 45 million, we set up our process because Congress did not see fit to make things easier for us. So we still actually had to go through the process I just explained for that remaining 45 million. And it typically takes us about 6 months, and we did it in 2.5 months. And the reason is this staff I have to give a shout out to the staff at the National Endowment for the Arts. They are amazing. And because we're mission oriented, they are committed to the mission, and they know how desperate our arts organizations were. So even on top of our everyday work, everyone dug in with their heart and soul so we could get the money out the door quickly. And so with that remaining $45 million, we got more than 3,100 applications, and we provided $50,000 grants to 846 organizations, including 104 to theater and musical theater organizations. And you know, the 3,100 applications, that's just who applied.
Right.
And they, in a total amount, wanted 157 million. We were able to give 846 grants at 50,000. So we're pleased and thrilled with that and happy about that. But as you can see, as we plainly see, the demand is so much greater than the supply.
So you're right. So what does that mean for next steps? Because obviously, I mean, $50,000 is great, and
but it's been 8 months.
Theaters know how to stretch a dollar for sure.
Yes, they do.
But what's the next steps? Can you talk about that?
And how can we help?
Yes.
So, well, certainly we would hope if there is going to be another stimulus bill or another COVID relief bill that we would be included in it again. That, of course, would be very helpful. And your audience members, if they want to contact their members of Congress, because as a federal agency, we are not allowed to lobby for what we think we might need, but your audience can. One of the other things that we have mentioned as something that would be helpful is for our current fiscal year 19 and 20 grantees, if the match, so all grants that we give have to be matched dollar for dollar, if they could waive that match for fiscal year 19 and fiscal year 20, that would put about 150 million into the economy to thousands of these organizations. And then obviously what the CARES Act did that typically is not done with our normal grants is it allowed the money to be used for operating costs and personnel, salaries, retaining jobs. And so if we could do that again, I think that would be very helpful, because typically our grants have to be used for arts programming.
What do you mean about the matching?
So if you apply for a grant from us and say you apply for a grant for 20,000, you'll have to match that 20,000. So all of our grants are dollar for dollar.
Okay.
So you want who to waive the grant? You want the rules to change? Is that what you mean by waiving?
Congress is the one who would have to do that.
So we have to ask Congress, can you just please waive it? Because it's hard to get matching money because no one has any money. So you want Congress to say, peace out on the waiving. I mean, peace out.
Which they did for the CARES Act. And so if there's any other stimulus bill or another COVID relief bill, that would be very helpful to have again.
Got it.
Right. That makes sense, because you can't match it when no one's donating. No one has any money.
And no one's doing any programming right now. And so even the grants that people received for fiscal year 19 or fiscal year 20, especially, they actually haven't been able to do the programming. So the money's just sitting there. And so it'd be helpful to be able to get it out the door.
And who thought it was going to be dry for so long with nothing happening?
None of us. None of us. I can remember in March 13th, I told the staff, well, we're going to telework and we'll readdress it March 31st.
Wow, you were innocent. Okay.
And here we are in November now.
Wow. Marianne, why do you think this? I know why I think the arts is important, and we could both, Seth and I could argue why it's important, just both spiritually and emotionally, but also economically. But in your own words, why is the arts so important?
Well, you're absolutely right. A million reasons why. Certainly economically, $880 billion to the economy, 4.5% of the nation's GDP. We see the difference it has made, especially in rural communities. But for me personally, it all stems from my daughter, who at the age of 7 was diagnosed with dyslexia. And so I had to search for an environment that was where she was going to succeed academically. And so I found a school that integrates arts into the teaching method. And I always say it's not a performing arts school because that's how it gets interpreted, but it's actually the arts are used to do the teaching. And it made a huge difference in her life, which means obviously my life. And now she's in 10th grade and getting straight A's.
Wow.
We're looking towards colleges and where she might go. And so for my family, I always say arts aren't a luxury, they're a necessity. And I just think they're a fundamental part of our life.
But how do you, I mean, we agree, but and we're always talking about how the arts are the first thing that seems to be cut, like ever since, I mean, since I was a teenager, I mean, in the 80s, it just seems like it's been something that's the first thing that's cut because it's not looked at as
Essential.
essential.
Yeah.
How do you make that argument? Because I'm sure you do. Tell me if I'm wrong. Go and lobby.
I actually really tried to change how the agency talks about the arts. And I talk about it economically. If you go up onto our website, arts.gov, you'll see, if you click on your home state, you'll see all the economic data about the arts. It talks about the GDP to your state, the number of jobs that the arts and cultural sectors have, the wages and benefits in the states. We also talk about our presence in the state. And the other thing that I really have been pushing is I think the future of arts is in health and well-being and healing. And so utilizing the arts in art therapy with our military men and women who have been wounded or suffer from traumatic brain injury, we've expanded that program called Creative Forces. We just put out a report yesterday on how art therapy helps those addicted to opioids. And that report's up on our website now. And so using the arts and building coalitions outside of just the art community, we work with NIH, the National Institutes of Health, on studying brain and music and how that affects the two. And so we've had great success with that. And I tell people, it's one thing for Mary Ann Carter to say, oh, the arts are great for your brain. It's different if your neurologist tells you that. And so we work with neurologists. So, we're developing, and I love working with doctors because when a doctor says to their patient, this is going to be good for you, it's going to carry so much weight. And so moving us into these other areas of where the arts are so successful, but we're not hearing about it. So we're making sure that it's getting reported, that we're investing in it. We're working with universities, we're working with research groups, and then we're reporting on it. And I think that's how we hopefully continue to spread the word. And if I can just give you another really quick example, my father had dementia and he was in a memory care facility. And so I used to go with him and they had 2 art programs a day. And usually in craft in the morning and then singing in the afternoon. And every resident in this memory care facility, some who didn't even know their own name, knew every song from their youth when they were played. And it was amazing to see and incredible. And you may have recently seen a video of a ballerina do you know the video I'm talking about, where she was hearing Swan Lake and all of a sudden she was a dementia patient and she was doing that. Well, when you have witnessed that with your own eyes, you become a believer. And so there's, so few people haven't been affected by Alzheimer's or dementia or a wounded loved one. And so when we build it into our health and our well-being and our healing, I think that is a strong way to keep the arts front and central.
It's very
Wow.
smart. That's really, when you talk about arts and education and how you can learn from it, I was just thinking like we all learned the alphabet, not by just going A, B, C, D. We all learned A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Everyone did. It wasn't considered
Schoolhouse
arts.
Rock, right?
Yeah, Schoolhouse
Oh my
Rock.
God.
People-
We're obsessed with that. I mean, I'm too young to know what you're talking about, but yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
How dare you?
Well, Marianne, thank you so much. I know that you have to go, but we because you're still at your office, right?
I am.
Oh my gosh, you got to get home. But I hope that you're able to watch this later on because you'll see we've got a number.
There are grantees.
Yeah, the grantees. With
I
us.
know, and you have wonderful grantees, and there are great venues and great theaters and great organizations, and I'm thrilled that they could join you.
We do too.
Thank you so much for honoring us by being here. Keep plugging away. Get some more money for the arts.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, we hope to see you again.
Bye.
All right,
That was
bye.
lovely.
All right,
Thanks everyone
that
for
was
watching.
So great.
So now we're going to go around the country.
Yes, well, we're gonna go really far.
Yes.
We're starting with the furthest away right now.
Yes, and here he is. This is Mr. Eric Johnson, and let's find out where he's from. Hi, Eric.
Aloha! How are you guys?
Oh, that's a good hint.
Aloha,
right
you
there.
gave it away. How are you?
Yeah, we're out here in Honolulu. We're so happy to be here with you today. I think, and thank you so much for doing this program.
Of course. See, the Honolulu Theater for Youth.
Mm-hmm.
So you're on the Big Island, right? That's where Honolulu is.
No, we're on the island of Oahu, which is the gathering place. It's the most populated island, but we serve all of the islands. Actually, we fly from island to island every year, bring theater around to the different islands. But recently, we have been pivoting, and we actually have been working. One of the things that the CARES Act has allowed us to do is keep a full ensemble of staff, of educators and actors, and company members. So we have a resident company that has been working on film and television ever since the pandemic. I think you guys have a video that tells a little bit about that story. And then we actually are here filming today, and I was going to introduce you to the gang.
Okay,
So I don't know which we want to do first.
Well, there's two clips here. There's one, because I haven't actually seen these yet. There's one with
A
guitar, and then the other one where they're all on a surf. So do you know which one to do?
It would be I
putting
think
you on the
it's the
spot.
one with the guitar.
Okay,
It's
let's
the
go.
longer of the two. The longer of the two.
Okay.
Another group of performers, Honolulu Theater for Youth, usually does up to a dozen productions each year and tours statewide.
The tricky thing is when you can no longer gather people, what do you have?
I remember one of the board members saying, what are other options? And is there a way that you can still serve Hawaii, the whole state, in another way, maybe a virtual way?
And from there, we landed on this harebrained idea that we would do a 30-minute television show, and we try to produce it every week.
This is the first time ever. We never did that. I never thought we'd ever go to TV.
So HTY is structured as an ensemble, and what the word ensemble means is it's a group of people who work together to create something. The way we work is how we make a lot of our theater shows. It's exactly the same. We'll get together at 8:30 every morning on a call, and we bounce around a lot of different ideas. And then people go off and work all day, shooting, writing, composing.
You think 1 minute of work will just take a little while, but it actually takes hours and hours just to do 1 minute of footage.
And we have to get it exactly 30 minutes.
So basically, I had to learn with the help from other people in the company, as well as my wife.
In a ragtag, motley crew. We're filming on our iPhones. I'm in my shower trying to do a voiceover because it's so noisy in my house.
First, it was overwhelming. It was so much because we didn't know. It was an adjustment for everyone in our house.
He came on a staycation and he's been with me for a couple of weeks now. The whole family's involved very much in the making of.
The highway represents our local stories and culture, and even just the local isms, the words.
So all of the magical things that can happen about representation and storytelling that happen here at Tenny Theater for the Oahu audiences is now shareable via video out to the rest of the island chain and to the world.
I also think it's really in line with young people and where they are.
So I see this only as a part of the short-term solution of people being at working at home, but the main thing is producing the messaging beyond this so we could do this collectively together.
The COVID story right now is going to tell the next generation what we were made of.
There's a Japanese saying, pinchi o chance ni. Like when you're in trouble, make it an opportunity.
But in the end, we did it together, right?
I think that theater's always going to be there. And I think the creative spark is always going to be there. Kids will have come to see HTY shows, will have watched Highway episodes, and they're going to be creating the new media for the future.
Eric, that's so amazing.
Oh my gosh, we agree with Jonathan. What Honolulu Theater for Youth, is that what it's called? HTY? HTY.
Yes.
Am I right?
Yeah.
What HTY has accomplished during this challenging time has been so inspiring to see. We agree.
Well, thank you so much. I think that we've just passed 2 million views for which is what we usually reach in about 10 years of programming. And running this TV show has been kind of amazing. And I think that is really, especially in the theater for young audiences field, so many of us face this challenge of this is the moment where schools are suffering, where teachers are suffering, and God knows it, families are suffering because you guys we were all packed in, to our houses together. And where is the joy in online learning? And how can we reach out and those very audiences that I think, especially theater for young audiences, but really all of theaters reach, have a choice to, do we keep doing programming of some kind and change our operation? Is a theater a building, or is a theater the artists that make it happen? And thanks to the CARES Act and a lot of generous support, we have taken that to heart, that it is the artist. So I wanted just to introduce you to the company really quick. Go around. I want to, because I know a lot of great theaters are coming up. So, and you can see that we have taken our theater and we have transformed it. This is Junior. He's been working full-time as an actor for 25 years with the company. Wow. This is Eric West, our technician, technical director, designer. Sarah, our stage manager, has become a video editor. This is Moses over here, who's actually an NEA Fox fellow. And here's Serena. This is Gerard Elmore, who's with the film company that's been helping us produce these TV shows. And then here's a couple of our actors. We're working on our 1-hour Christmas special that is going to be free to all schools as part of their online holiday content. And then also will run on the local television channels here.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we're here, I'll just give them a little bit of song.
Yeah.
Wow. You guys have pivoted in such an amazing way. Like you found you have this capability for something that you've never even known, and now you've created this whole new product. I mean, it's gonna be so great when you can go back to doing theater. You can have 2 amazing products at once.
I think so. I think you'll find a lot of the theaters you talked to today have been finding creative ways when we give artists the resources to keep working in our most dangerous times. I mean, just like you guys, you're finding creativity in different ways. And creating community in different ways. And so I think that is what we're trying to do, to be able to, and I think I just want to say that also locally, to be able to support Indigenous artists and people from this community at a time like this, and see those voices continue, I think is so important. So yeah, thank
We're
you.
so impressed. We're going to show your logo because we love it. It's Honolulu Theater for Youth. Thank you guys. Thanks NEA, and let's get you guys some more money. Peace out. Go to sleep.
Hey, thank you. Aloha.
What time is it there, Eric, by the way, in Hawaii?
Yeah, what time is
it? It's 3:30, middle of the day.
Yeah.
Oh.
Seth got it reversed. He thought you were in London or something.
All right, forget it.
It's early there.
Stay awake. Nice meeting you. Wow, that was cool, man.
It was very cool.
Who's next?
Well, we have from Atlanta. Oh, actually, no, we have from Nebraska, Omaha, Nebraska, Matt Gutschick.
Hold on. 1, 2, Matt. Hi, Matt.
Hi.
Did we pronounce it right? Gutschick?
Yeah, you got it. It's totally okay if you hadn't, though, too. So it's a hard one.
Thank you. So you're the Rose Theater. So what do you guys do, and how has the pandemic affected you, and how has the NEA helped you?
Yeah, so we're an organization that, much like Honolulu, we employ 10 ensemble members, full-time jobs with benefits. They also function as teaching artists. So that's 10 of the people that make up part of our 30-person company here. We do 9 main stage shows a year and 2 shows that are really interactive in our smaller space, specifically designed for preschool-aged children. And those teaching artists are really essential to what is in fact the cornerstone of who we are. It's called Every Single Child. And that is, just like its name states, we reach every single public school child in the metro area. And we're a city of about 1 million folks. Every single public school child has an in-school residency, week-long workshop, field trip with a post-show and pre-show engagement every year from kindergarten through 6th grade. And we're working on getting every single preschooler to also be included in that. So we operate out of this beautiful space. You can't tell from my very humble office here, but it is a gorgeous facility. Something that I think is almost unrivaled in terms of beauty and almost like a Baroque sensibility. It looks like an open air Riviera. There's a night sky with lights that actually replicate the stars that light up. It's pretty amazing, and it's all for kids.
Matt, has your theater the Rose Theater, right, in Omaha? Has the Rose Theater received grants from the NEA before?
Yeah, we've received funding from the NEA, of course, through our local arts agency, the Nebraska Arts Council, for ongoing operations support. But then they have also generously supported specific projects that we have undertaken. And so one of the things that the NEA is really essential to is getting commissions to playwrights for the development of new work. They really help. And you guys know this, like sometimes new work can be a little bit risky. You don't really know what the ticket sales picture is going to be. And the NEA just makes it so much easier to invest in individual artists.
Wow. Well, Matt, thank you so much. Where do people go to if they want to check out your
beautiful theater?
That's right.
Yeah. So www.rosetheater.org. You can find out everything about us, the extensive education programs, and all the cool stuff that we have going on.
Okay, Jonah, put that up, would you please?
We're so impressed, Matt. You're is it Nebraska? Am I right?
Yep, Omaha. Somewhere in Middle America.
I was just there for the International Thespian Society.
Oh, cool. Yeah,
the
conference, the
high school theater.
Yeah. It's a big deal. They have that in Lincoln, and I guess they might be moving it to Indianapolis soon. But every thespian kid from high schools across the country descends on Nebraska once a year.
Yes. Yeah, it was lovely. Well, thank you. Keep up the amazing work. Congratulations.
Thanks so much for spotlighting us.
Absolutely.
So
Thanks,
cool.
Matt.
Bye, Mr. Matt.
We've got Atlanta, Georgia, actually.
I think Jamil is next, if I'm pronouncing.
Jude? We'll
sure.
find out.
Jamil, hi.
Hello. You guys hear me?
Yes. And it's pronounced Jamil, am I right?
Yeah, Jamil, you got it right. Thank you.
Excellent. Okay, so you are in
Atlanta.
Hotlanta.
Oh, God.
Thank you.
Atlanta. Yeah.
So tell us about True Colors Theater.
Yeah, so we were founded in 2002 by a guy you all may know called Kenny Leon.
Yes, he was on our show. We love him.
Yeah, so Kenny, he really wanted to find a way to change the narrative around the regional theater. Most theaters come from a predominantly white institution or predominantly white perspective and then diversify from the fringes. When Kenny co-founded the theater with Jane Bishop, decided that we wanted to center the Black narrative and then diversify from that. So our mission is to celebrate the rich tradition of Black storytelling while giving voice to bold artists of diverse backgrounds. So, that's kind of how we do and how we operate. And we've been doing it for almost 20 years now.
So what happened when COVID hit and you, I'm sure, had to cancel performances and events that you had? Like what happened?
Yeah, we aren't special. Like, in this, we were lucky enough that we closed our production of Jocelyn Bio's Schoolgirls of the African Mean Girls play 5 days before Broadway shut down. So we were lucky in that kind of way. But yeah, we missed out on a summer production of Marie and Rosetta that we were really looking forward to, and had to find the time to pivot. But I'm really thankful for having a talented staff full of amazing Black women. Shout out to all the women on my staff, especially my managing director, Chandra Stevens Albright, who just really wanted to spend the time making sure that when we come back and we relaunch, that there's no reason why True Colors shouldn't be positioned to be the best theater that we can be. So they worked really, really hard to make sure that happened.
So Jamil, what did you do with because you were your theater was a recipient of a grant from the NEA, right, in the CARES Act?
Yeah. Thank you, NEA. So we did a couple of things. The first thing is that we host a weekly podcast on Instagram Live on Thursdays at 1 p.m. So you can check that out on Instagram. We are at True Colors Theater. But we also started working on a commissioning program. We have been long thinking that, especially with Atlanta, our city is predominantly Black, our audience is predominantly Black, that this would be a great opportunity to inspire new world premiere plays by artists of the African diaspora. We had a plan to start doing that in maybe 3 years or so, but this pandemic really allowed us to move that timeline up thanks to the grant from the NEA. So we're going to be commissioning 3 Atlanta-based writers, mid-career writers, to commission new works for the digital stage. Those things will premiere in the second half of the spring, so around March. So we're really, really excited by that. And as well as just trying to put more work and more money into the hands directly of the artists here in the Atlanta metro area.
Wow, fantastic. And I love that description that it's theater is white and then you diversify from the fringes. It's so true. I love that you guys reverse that. I think that's so fantastic.
Yeah, thank you, Seth. I appreciate it. James, sorry.
No, I'm Seth.
You're
right. You're right.
I got nervous. I was like, I thought I said the right person, but I just didn't want to make it.
It's all good. What else do we have to say?
No, I mean, Jonah, put up the website for True Colors, and people will if people want to listen to the podcast, they can just go to truecolorstheater.org for more
information. The podcast is up there, or just come find us on Instagram. Again, it's at True Colors Theater on Instagram. And we're really excited for the work. We're excited to be, just launching these careers, telling new narratives, and encouraging more people to get into the full breadth and depth of the American theater. When we only tell a portion of the stories, we only get a portion of the stories. So we just wanted to encourage more people to do that work.
Amazing. So great. Well, nice meeting you, Jamil. Thank you for all the great work.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for having me on. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Bye-bye to you. How nice.
So great.
I know.
Inspiring. We actually
all these great theaters around the country.
So I didn't know if there was music. I don't know if it was from Julie's room.
No, I'm hearing like underscore, but I don't hear it now. It's gone.
I don't hear it. Okay.
We have a kid that's always blasting music.
It's like, is it Julie? Is it Mandy? It's my phone.
Dr. Lepook is
we
next.
have Dr. Lepook. Let's see.
Let's take a little medical break with Dr. John Lepook.
Hey guys.
Hi, Dr. John Lepook.
How are you?
Good. What about all these? We've got people from Hawaii today, from Alaska. We just heard Nebraska. We have Georgia.
All the Askas.
Yes, exactly.
I'll have to ask her.
That'll chestnut. Dr. Lepook, I keep reading. I now feel there's like a crazy, like American Idol, the final 2, Kelly Clarkson and Justin Guarini, between the 2 vaccines. Like, is there gonna be like one winner? Like, I'm so nervous. I was gonna be a big slap fight.
No, it's the beauty of this is that there are going to be multiple winners. And you know what, Seth, we need multiple winners because we don't want a global food fight over this vaccine. These, Pfizer. So there's breaking news. How many times have we told you guys stuff before everybody else? There's breaking news, which is that Pfizer tomorrow is going to file for emergency use authorization. Wow. And what that means is that they are going to hand over to the FDA a bunch of papers saying we want this to be given emergency authorization. It's not a full approval, but emergency use because it's in the middle of a pandemic, special circumstances. What happens next is then it goes to an advisory committee. The advisory committee looks at it, outside experts. By the way, everybody and their mother is going to be looking at this. It's going to be, I believe, publicly shared and very transparent according to the FDA. And then the FDA will decide whether to give it the emergency use authorization, unless there is a huge surprise in the data that's actually there with what we've been led to believe. This thing's going to get emergency use authorization. The Army and others are ready to roll this out fairly quickly. I think you're going to probably end up seeing first responders and the most vulnerable getting it in the near future. Possibly by the December. Within it could be within several weeks. And then that's Pfizer. Moderna is hot on their heels with another vaccine that's 95% effective. They're going to do the same thing. And then there's Johnson & Johnson, and there's AstraZeneca and Oxford, and there's a bunch of other vaccines that are out there. So, fingers crossed, this could be a huge triumph for science, not for magic. But it at the same time, I have to acknowledge the cognitive dissonance that's going around. Don't we all feel it, right? You know about cognitive dissonance? If I were to secretly inject you with adrenaline, and that raised your heartbeat and made you feel anxious, but I didn't tell you that. And you'd say, wait a second, I'm feeling okay, but like, why am I feeling that? I'm feeling anxious, but why am I? It's a cognitive dissonance, right? And on the one hand, you have this country on fire and fuego. You just look at a map, it's all red. And we have new records every day. It's horrible what's going on right now. And at the same time, we've got the cavalry, on their horseback coming down. And we've talked about this before, but folks, if there ever was a time to just double down, do what you have to do. I think anybody watching this knows they need to wear a mask. They may not understand or remember, because the advice changed, that when you're inside a room with somebody outside your pod or bubble, you have to wear a mask. I don't care if it's across the room, because just like cigarette smoke, the aerosols can go, they can accumulate over time, especially with poor ventilation. So today I canceled. I have old friends, dear friends, who are patients. When I was in my early 30s, I didn't see many of my close friends who was just kind of too charged. And then over the years, one by one, they came and they said, would you be my doctor? So I've taken care of dear friends. And they said, here's our plans for today. We're going to go down for Thanksgiving. We're going to drive down to this state. Here are the 7 people who are involved. But there's one person we're not sure about. We're not sure where she's, And I said, do not do this. Do not do this. You know what that sounds like in Guys and Dolls? Somebody is going to say that they can pull a jack of diamonds out of a deck and make it squirt cider in your ear. And Sky Masterson says, do not take this bet. Mm-hmm. Because sure as anything, you're going to end up with an earful of cider. And I said, do not do this. Because, and it comes with the years, I think. I mean, normally when I went into practice, I was like, do I say to do this? Do I say not to do this? Or how definitive? Maybe I say on the one hand, on the other hand. This isn't Fiddler on the Roof. This was like, do not do this. And they wrote back both of them wrote back such beautiful emails saying, thank you. And the reason why I'm telling this whole story is all of you people out there who want to do that Thanksgiving, you're going to go to lengths and you're going to do this and you're going to do that. Do not do this. Just stay home. Have a Zoom or a FaceTime Thanksgiving, live to see next Thanksgiving, and the vaccines are on their way.
Doctor, before you go, I think this is not an uncommon question. Can we currently trust the FDA?
Okay. So Dr. Stephen Hahn is the head of the FDA, and they had some shaky moments, let's be honest, over the summer and before they gave an emergency use authorization of hydroxychloroquine when the data did not really support it. They gave an emergency use authorization to convalescent plasma when the data did not really support it. And they did fumble even discussing what the data showed. They kind of got it wrong in how they described it. So I interviewed Stephen Hahn, who is he's an oncologist. I really went at him strongly, and you could find the interview if you Google LaPook Stephen Hahn. You'll find it on the CBS Evening News with Nora O'Donnell. And he said, we are not going to let politics do this. We are going to have an advisory committee. It's going to be transparent. He has recently written something reiterating that. Pfizer and all of the pharma companies involved, they came out with their statement. And then they did something. The FDA, when they were under pressure from the White House to just, get this thing approved, hopefully before Election Day, they said, we are not going to approve an emergency use authorization unless there's 2 months of safety data. I think it was for or at least half of the people. That basically eliminated the possibility of getting an approval before Election Day. Now, that said to me, there's a little strengthening of the spine. Now, people are I'll leave it to historians. And by the way, when we figure out what actually was going on behind the scenes, to know what was going on behind the scenes. But right now, with the eyes of the world upon them, you've got the FDA, you've got the advisory committee, which is independent. You've got Tony Fauci, who I trust with my life and with your lives. And then you've got, if it's transparent enough, every scientist in the world, every public health official, every doctor, and every just normal person who's interested looking at this data. So the answer to me is, it's really not a matter of just purely trusting. There's so much verification going on that when Tony Fauci says to take it, I am first in line.
There you go. All right, that's a great way.
I love it. Okay, you inspired us. Thank you, Dr. LaPook. We will see you mañana.
Mañana? Oh, what wonderful pronunciation.
Thank you.
Hasta la próxima.
He's got a cut. That's how you pronounce it on Long Island. Okay,
Who do we have, Seth?
We have Emika from that fabulous theater, Woolly
Washington,
Mammoth.
DC.
A 1, a 2, 3. Hi, Emika.
Hi, it's Emika. Actually,
I was just about to say, is it Emika?
A B?
All good. Okay. That's the default. I'm used to it. But good to see you both.
Hi, you're from Woolly Mammoth, which I totally heard of. What do you do for Woolly Mammoth?
I am the managing director. So I was 5 months on the job when everything shut down in March.
Wow.
And my colleague Maria Goyanes, our artistic director, was about 1.5 years into being the second artistic director in the theater's 40-year history.
Wow.
So, we're learning trial by fire here.
You had to cancel your shows?
We were. So I thought I was off the hook at first because, like Jamil, we had just closed a show the week before and we were in rehearsals for the next one. It was a world premiere of There's Always a Hudson by Paula Lazzaro. And I thought maybe we'll get there. Maybe we'll postpone for a month. And then here we are in November. So we had to cancel. And we lost over $1 million in ticket revenue with all the shows that we had to cancel. But we also, through constraint comes creativity. And of course, one of the benefits of working in the arts is being with people that are really creative. And so I've been really stunned with not only what we've done, but what people have done throughout the field in this time to really innovate and try new things and be really resilient and adaptable.
So what have you done during this craziness?
Yeah, well, we did an audio anthology with a group called the Telephonic Literary Union. And it was a show that you got, it was an 800 number that you dialed into, and there was a phone menu, like when you call Comcast or whatever. And so you could choose your own adventure with the menu and go down these different rabbit holes. It was called Human Resources. And there were some that were touching, some that were really funny, some that were mysterious and maybe even bizarre. But we worked with, I think it was 3 different playwrights and 1 composer on that, and actors that did the voice work and everything.
So
and
creative.
It was really, really different. Yeah. And people, like is typical for a Woolly Mammoth show, some people loved it. Some people did not love it, but even the ones that didn't love it are telling us how excited they are that we did it. And they're excited to see what what we do next.
And what do you have coming up next?
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you asked. We just a couple weeks ago filmed Ryan Haddad's Hire You Single, which was supposed to be, do you know this show? Do you know Ryan?
No. Oh, yeah, because Katie just wrote me. Katie from Scandal told me that she's on the board, because I know Ryan. I've known Ryan since he was a kid. Now it's all coming together. Okay, so Ryan from The Politician. Okay,
Yes.
go now. Okay, hit it. Sorry.
Yeah, so Katie is one of the artistic directors. I am a theater in LA, so we're co-producing with them, Hire You Single. So we filmed it at Woolley a couple weeks ago, and it is going to be amazing. So it's not going to be available till January because they have to edit it and put it all together. But it is, Ryan's done the show in different workshop versions, but this is really the world premiere. And we hope to bring it back in person someday as well. But in the meantime, we did it, filmed it live in the theater. We had a little studio audience of staff and board members. And it's a great show. It is a solo piece that he wrote and performs in. And I hope that you all check it out.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have Katie and Ryan on the show. We'll definitely promote it. That's fantastic.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was magical, just like actually creating, theater in our building again, and having our production staff build the sets. And, it really, it's a whole new world to do it all socially distanced with masks on, but it also was really, it was a heartwarming experience for sure.
So before you leave, because Woolley got a CARES grant also, right? So what did you use it for?
Yeah, how did the NEA help you?
Yeah, well, it kept our staff on staff. We used it to fund what we called our content committee, which was our artistic staff and marketing staff to work together to figure out, back in the spring, right, of how do we create online? What does that look like? And realizing that the medium and the way of connecting with our audiences was really different to do that online. And so it kept those people on staff. We're all professionals working in this world. And so to keep people employed is incredibly, incredibly important and really helpful. So, we need more funding from the government, right? I
You
really
read my mind. I was literally about to give you the leading question on that.
And I don't know what the numbers are, but the arts have a greater economic impact than restaurants in this country. And, nobody's talking about us. And I think, we have to always make our case in different ways about why we're important and relevant and essential. And but I believe that now, especially when we're so isolated and distanced from one another, having that connection and community, which is possible through different technological means, is just more important now than ever.
Absolutely.
We 100% agree, and we can't wait to talk to Ryan about the show. Thank you for being here, Emika.
Yes,
All right.
Thank you for having me, Seth and James.
We have a friend named Anika, so it's like when I see that spelling, I think of Anika. Thank you so much. I love Woolly Mammoth. Thumbs up.
Thank you.
That's so nice.
Who do we have next?
I think we have
love
Jonelle.
this. Yes.
A one, a two. I don't know if it's Jonelle or Jonelle. Hello.
Hi, Seth and James. So nice to see you.
Hi there.
Hear you.
Oh, thank you for listening.
Yeah.
Are you pronounced Jonelle or Jonelle?
It's actually Jonelle.
Jonelle.
Procope?
Procope.
Procope. Oh, okay.
Right.
Just how it. Okay.
Right.
So are you the artistic director, the
No,
CEO? What's your
I'm
position?
the CEO, and I have an amazing executive producer who's like the artistic director, Camila Forbes. And, she's amazing. The Apollo's amazing. We've been around for 86 years. Thank you for that. And I have to first thank the NEA for their grant. That grant, like Emika was just saying, helped us to pay the salaries of what we would consider our, content providers and the team that we felt we needed to be able to keep on. so that when we do resume normal operations, we'll be ready to hit the ground running. Like other theaters, like our, colleagues, we had to close our doors in March and pivot immediately. And so the NEA funding helped us to keep the staff that we needed on so that we could then create what we call the Apollo Digital Stage. So, so from the time that we closed until now, we've presented over 30 works on this stage. In the beginning, we pulled from our archives. We pulled things that we had done that we felt were culturally and socially relevant. We then began to produce additional programming that we rolled out beginning in September. One of the great things about the Apollo is that while we can't be open for live performances with audiences, we were able to, following the protocols that we have to follow, allow people to come in and actually shoot things or film things, for streaming. So
it's big enough.
Exactly. So that enabled us to keep going. So that, I have to say thank you to Marianne. This was amazing. And I think it's amazing to be able to get that kind of funding when you need it, in a critical time as this is.
But all that said, we were all kind of thinking that we were going to have another stimulus bill and with the arts back in the summer. First off, how in the heck have you been able to sustain? Because we all thought maybe something would happen in July or August. And number two, how soon do you need more funds?
Well, I need more funds now, but what I would say is that we don't have any earned revenue. When this happened, we canceled approximately 100 programs and performances. The play Blue was about to come in and sit at the Apollo. That's the one with Leslie Uggams and Lynn Whitfield, and it was going to be directed by Felicia Rashad. And we were so excited about that, and that, it went away. So, what can I say? But anyway, we were losing nearly $4 million as a result of closing down. So we immediately had to go into a very aggressive emergency fundraising, program. And, thank goodness we were able to raise that money. As we look forward, we're continuing to fundraise because that's what's allowing us to stay open, figuratively open, and continue doing what we do. So like the other theaters and the people who were on before me said, we can all use funding, and it would be amazing if the federal government would step up and certainly include theaters and public assembly venues. We're all dying here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the Apollo can't go away. It's historic. Showtime at the Apollo. We saw Dreamgirls there. We used to live like 3 blocks away.
That's right. So
we love it.
What we want to do is we'll continue on the digital stage, but certainly when we reopen, we'll continue to present, the disciplines that the Apollo is known for, music, comedy, theater, dance. And then what we really want to do as we look to the future is establish a 21st century canon that will focus on the African-American narrative. So an example of that is Camila Forbes, our executive producer, adapted Between the World and Me, which is Ta-Nehisi Coates' book that came out several years ago. And it premiered on the Apollo stage back then, and then it went on tour. It went to Atlanta, it went to the Kennedy Center in Washington, and it was supposed to go to other cities, and then COVID hit. So HBO decided that they would like to take the stage adaptation and make a film of it, and which actually premieres on Saturday. Wow. Camila was able to, she directed it, and it was filmed in 3 weeks with COVID and you know, dealing with artists across the country, you know, in a way that, you know, it was hard to imagine being able to connect with the artists in a way to create something as, I think, passionate and beautiful as this is. So that's an example also of what we consider to be one of the works that we would say is part of the 21st century canon.
Wow.
I love you guys. I'm going to flash this one more time. Apollo, thank you for being here. Keep up the work.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Can't wait to see the theater open again. How lovely. Okay, we have Leslie
We're going
next, right?
From Harlem all the way to Juneau, Alaska, with
Whoa.
the Perseverance Theater.
Leslie.
Hi.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me on, Seth and James. Oh my goodness, what an honor and a pleasure.
Thank you. We love Alaska.
I do too. Usually I can have a virtual background that would show you a gorgeous image of the channel where I've seen whales go by, you know, and the beautiful mountains where there's snow on them now. Yes, thank you for sharing our logo. Awesome. And
So I'm sorry. What did you want to say? Because I want to ask you a question, but finish talking.
Thank you so much. I'm on the unceded lands of the Tlingit, of the Occoquan peoples, also, like you said, known as the Douglas and Juneau area of Alaska. And then they're just to the south, their neighbors, the Tacoquan peoples as well. And we also conduct our work up in the land of the Dena'ina peoples, which is also known as Anchorage. But we serve all of Alaska as the Professional Theater of Alaska.
So you tour around?
We have in our past, and of course with COVID, that makes it a little more challenging, but we do have projects like the Winter Bear Project that has been a suicide prevention project that will take small planes out to remote or rural areas of Alaska and bring that live play and have workshops, arts education workshops, to support that advocacy for issues like I said, suicide prevention. And then we'll barge our set up from Juneau up to Anchorage, where we'll perform at the Performing Arts Center, you know, reassemble it and bring shows there as well. So,
wow,
yeah, it's quite an operation.
So Leslie, how did the NEA and the CARES Act help your theater this year?
Oh my gosh, I could get emotional thinking about it. First of all, we were already recipients of a NEA grant, basically for a Tlingit play, an Alaskan Native playwright. And that play by Frank Henry Koshkatas called Where the Summit Meets the Stars, which is this beautiful image of like what I was just saying, where the mountains and the summit, you know, they come together, and a beautiful play with live Tlingit music and Foley. So that was supporting, you know, really a marginalized voice in the American theater, a Native Indigenous playwright and artist. And it would bring together, of course, other Native Indigenous Tlingit artists. So we're grateful that so far we haven't been able to be in person. We think that's a play we should wait for. In the meantime, we're looking to get innovative in case we can't wait, but certainly we're grateful for that, as well as we did receive some CARES Act money, and that's kept us going so that we could, as everyone uses that word, so we could pivot. And we've been able to produce one of Frank's plays for young audiences, Spirit of the Valley. And it employed a wonderful Asian illustrator right here in Juneau. And we were able to virtually make these backgrounds, and using Zoom and a broadcast system that we could, it looks like the actors are walking through an illustrated storyland. It's beautiful. And I'll just tease this out. We had such a great response. We had one of the biggest student audiences that we've ever had. We offered discounted tickets to make sure it's affordable for everybody. And basically, we had over 800 students be able to watch, or I should say 800 devices and students watching. So we think we might offer it on demand because there's still more that are asking for it. So CARES money, we've been able to do great things with it and find the silver lining in this moment. Yeah.
Wow.
It just shows how
That's so
important it is
inspiring.
for another CARES Act to keep you guys going.
Absolutely.
What's the more importantly, what's the temperature right now there?
Well, with wind chill, you always have to factor in the wind chill. Oh, it was 28 degrees.
That's not terrible, but
Yeah.
call me in a month.
That's right. And then up in Anchorage, it's already below, or not Anchorage, Anchorage and further up to Fairbanks, and even near the Arctic Circle, it's getting to be below zero. So yeah, we're in the southeast. We're a little further south and on the water. That helps our cause.
Oh yeah.
You're telling me.
If you're equipped, you've got your good gloves. You can get boots now with spikes on the bottom, so you don't slip on the ice.
Oh, right.
And you just get all your gear out. Yeah.
Good to know. And a mask helps. Well, thank you so much. Keep up the amazing work. And yes, put that on demand.
So, okay, I will, and I'll let you know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, tell us.
thank you, everybody who is supporting with these online, these beautiful online offerings that are going up. Please support them because it is helping us to keep going. It's helping us absolutely to find a silver lining and be visible to advocate for ourselves. We're getting better at telling that story about our needs, and the power of theater and even live virtual theater is that we heal and process through this trauma together. So we come out the other side stronger. So thank you to the NEA. Thank you to Marianne. Thank you to Greg Reiner, who's always been a great cheerleader for us.
Love him.
And to you two, thank you, Seth and James. Perseverance thanks you. And
Oh, so
goodness
nice.
gracious.
So nice meeting you.
Well, the
There's
next
your
time
logo.
we do an Alaskan cruise and we go to Juneau, we're going to look you up.
Yeah, we got because we do Alaska
You
public
must
cruises.
come. I look forward to it.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye, Leslie. How lovely is
That
that?
was
So
so
much
nice.
great theater all over the
Our
world.
last theater, Seth.
Oh, this is oh my god, from my sister's hometown.
Yes.
Please welcome Stephanie. Hi, Stephanie.
Hi, how's it going?
Hi,
Good. I love Baltimore.
Center Stage.
My sister lives. I mean, I'm always there. My sister lives there, and I did a show at the Mechanic Theater back in the day. Baltimore Center Stage is super famous. What do you do for them?
I'm the artistic director. Yeah. And I
Fabulous.
live in Baltimore too. I've only lived here for not even 24 months. But I have fallen so deeply in love with this city. It's amazing.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, I did Forever Plaid there, and I was always at the Inner Harbor. I mean, I just love it there. They're a great theater town. So what's the purpose of Baltimore Center Stage? Is there a mission?
Yeah. So we're professional theater, obviously, in Baltimore, and we really serve as kind of a cultural catalyst for the city and the community of Baltimore. And we're focused on not only programming, full-length productions, but also community engagement, civic engagement, and of course, learning programs for the students of Baltimore and throughout Maryland.
And we keep asking, what happened when the pandemic hit? Was your show canceled, or did you just finish the show? What was happening? Oh,
well, we had to post, just to say, I was in the middle of my first season for Baltimore Center Stage, so that was a good time. We postponed what was to be the final show of the season, which was the Bacchae. We were going to close out with the Greeks, but we were about to go into performances for a play called Where We Stand by Donetta Lavinia Grays that we had produced in partnership with the Women's Project in New York City. So we were able to, just like lickety split, we turned on a dime. You notice how I didn't say pivot. We turned on a dime and put the show on tape in our beautiful Head Theater. We did it all in a day, and we were able to offer it up. And I think it was really artfully done. We were able to offer it up to students and to our audiences, and it was kind of an amazing gift at that moment.
Stephanie, do we know each other from New York? Why do I feel like I do?
Probably. I mean, I was there for a decade and working at the Public Theater and in and around the off-Broadway community. So it's highly possible that we crossed paths.
Yeah.
So Stephanie, we've been asking everyone how the CARES Act and the grant from the NEA helped. So what happened when you got that money? How did it help?
Oh, my shoulders came way down. We've heard so much tonight. Y'all are just doing an amazing job of shining a light on all of the ways that the artists and the theaters are innovating and pivoting. And like so many others, we are also in the business of continuing to tell stories, but none of that programming happens without people. None of that programming happens without not just our artists, but our artisans, the people in our shops, the people in our costume shops, the marketing people. So the CARES Act and the grant from the NEA essentially helped us to stay afloat. We were able to focus that money on our civic programming and to keep the people employed who helped to produce a much beloved series called the Baltimore Butterflies, the Baltimore Butterfly Sessions, which is our civic dialogue series. So we were able to really put our foot on the gas and turn our attention to connecting art and civic life in Baltimore.
Wow.
Well, as my sister Nancy says, yay, center stage.
Yes, center stage.
Fellow Baltimorean.
Well, Stephanie, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Yes. And I can't wait. When it's back open, I'll come visit my sister Nancy. We'll come see a show.
That's right.
Oh, please do. Look me up.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Congratulations. First season. You made it through.
Thank you.
Bye, Stephanie. This is what a fun trip around the world.
Yes.
Virtual trip around the world.
We want to thank Aaron Hartley, and we want to thank Greg at the NEA for putting all of this together. We really appreciate it.
Wait, bye-bye microphone.
Oh. Well,
yes, we want to thank Greg at the NEA and Aaron Hartley. Tomorrow we have our Beetlejuice reunion. You can't do it? I don't know. Oh, I don't know what we have Saturday. Do you know what we have Saturday?
I don't know. You're working on it. We've had two different ideas for a reunion.
Oh, right. Oh, right? God, I haven't done any emails yet. Yeah. Okay, so I guess that's it, right? We don't have to.
And thanks, Jonah, for helping with everything. And in credits, Seth.
Yes, thank you, Jonah. Always way too close to the camera, and I don't know why. Why is my head normal, and why is Jonah? I can't. Literally a monster. And on that note, I gotta go.
On the credits
here.
This is enough. You want to do something in honor of Alaska or Hawaii, Seth?
In honor of Alaska.
They came the furthest tonight. Oh, okay.
In Alaska, let it snow in July.
Seth, you're going to have to end the broadcast because Mandy is barking to get out.
Well, I thought it was over. Peace out. Yeah.